Yes, guys, welcome back to another BCP episode. I'm gonna change the name at the end of the year, start something new. I'm your host, Justin. As always, I'm with my fellow co-host, Colby. Colby, my friend, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. Just got done with a long tournament weekend for the kids.
Very nice.
Yeah, man. We were driving all over the place, dude. Like you get these tournament schedules, and you never know what you're gonna expect. And dude, it was 3 different games, 3 different places, all like an hour from my house.
Oh.
It was.
Yeah, I had one client, it was a client of mine that was saying that his son had like a baseball tournament, same thing, and one game was up in Melissa, so like way up north, and then after that game they had like an hour gap, maybe an hour and a half, and then the next game was in Benbrook, and I'm like, your break is just your drive. That is your whole break. He's like, yeah, it's pretty awful.
That was my weekend. Yeah.
I get it. I don't do that, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Speaking of weekend, I had a great weekend. My team came home with 3 points. Your team dropped 2 points. But I think the thing that we need to talk about is Andy Robertson's red card. 100% a red card. 100% red.
Yeah.
The legs are failing.
I was holding. No, I don't know if the legs are failing or if it was just. It was a pretty wild challenge. I don't know. How old is he? He's got to be in his 30s now, probably. But yeah, it's tough, man. Not everybody can be freaking Kyle Walker and last till they're like 35, dude. Like
his legs are gone. Listen, he's an elite football player, and I think he's been one of the best right backs ever, probably in the Premier League. But he is not that player anymore.
Yeah,
he's done.
Yeah,
he's done. So.
Well, yeah, dude. He's been like really. I mean, I'm trying to remember when we even picked. I think we picked him up from Hull. Yep. Like we got Andy Robertson, and you losers got Maguire. So, yeah, dude.
Hey, but Maguire helped us win 3 points.
He's behind him.
And Andy Robertson cost you guys 2 points.
Yeah, but I mean, y'all aren't gonna win the title, so it doesn't matter.
You
I
may
am
not
very
either,
happy that you beat Man City,
dude.
Yes. That final goal was insane.
Dude. Okay,
like it was awesome.
Here's a shout. I'm not saying he is the same person. Okay, this is gonna be a really high statement, but watching that goal was very much like watching like old school highlights of like Eric Cantona or like Dennis Bergkamp, like this crazy freakish touch, and then just like effortlessly like boop, just putting it in the back of the net.
Dude, that was pretty cool. You know who I was thinking of was actually like little Robin Van Persie, little RVP. Like he would get like even before Man U, like over at Arsenal, like Brendan Song used to like hit these like long balls at him, and he could just catch it right on the toe. Yeah. Or one of my favorite RVP ones is where it was the 2010 World Cup, and he like kind of like dives
the diving
forward,
header,
the
flying Dutchman.
So good.
Yeah, that's a great goal. There's that one.
Awesome,
There's the
bro.
classic Wayne Rooney one where he crosses it and then RVP like volleys it with his left foot. It's so nasty. I think they won the title with that game. Yeah,
that guy was amazing.
He's a volley expert. But yeah, I was stoked. Man City. I was super happy. And then I saw this and somebody posted a screenshot and I think it's like true, but it was from Bruno's penalty goal to when Ahmad scored the game-winning goal. 115 seconds.
It's amazing.
115.
It's amazing,
dude. That's like
Pep.
That's like poetry. Like the universe's poetry. Pep's collapsing, bro.
Yeah. You know what my buddy brought up the other day, because he's a Arsenal fan. He said it sucks that Man City is collapsing all at once, and they couldn't have spread it out over like the last 10 years, because we could have used like 2 drop games from them back in, I don't even remember what it was, like 2017, 2018, when they beat us by like 1 or 2 points at the end. And then Arsenal could have used it last year, the year before. It's just frustrating. It's like, dude, why are you guys sucking like all at once? Like, spread this crap out.
No, I love watching them just like completely implode all at once.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice, but it's like if y'all would have spread it out, other people could have won the title. You know what I mean?
I don't care about any of y'all. They're not real title wins anyways. It's not a real club.
Dude, I did see this meme that said like it was oh my god, it was like a Pied Piper meme. All these routes like flooded out, and it was like all the Man City fans going back over to Chelsea, which I thought was hilarious.
I saw one. It was I'll have to send it to you. The guy ended up deleting it. I think he got crap. But it said, when you decide to rebel against the family team, and it's this little boy, and he's sitting next to the Christmas tree, and he's just bawling. He's fucking bawling, and he's got a Man City jersey on. And the dad is like screaming in his face. He's like, yeah, get in. He's got the Man United jersey. And the kid's just like bawling. He's like, yeah, all right, son. And I was like, damn.
Dang.
I would do that to my kids. Absolutely do that to my kids. But this is the first time in a minute, though, that the Prem, A, has it felt like a farmers league. And then B, that like even people outside of the top 6, I would say like basically 1 to 17th right now, they're all within like a few, like 1 or 2 points. So it was saying something like, I think City's in 5th right now. If they lose this next game, they could drop down to 9th.
I would
That's
love
crazy.
It. I would love it if they finish out of the top 10.
That's crazy.
Like, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if it'll happen, but it doesn't look like it's getting any better. So,
but it's like little Chelsea, who none of us saw. They're the little horse coming on. I know. Right on. They're nipping at your heels, bro.
Chelsea I know, dude, with a squad of like what, like, I mean, wasn't this much, but it was like 40 players before the season
48.
started, and they had to cut. Yes, they had to cut all this dead wood.
Yeah,
freaking send Raheem Sterling over to Arsenal and cut all these other guys. And dude, your boy Jadon Sancho, holy cow, man!
Don't doubt
holy
me.
cow!
Nobody doubts me.
I'm going to talk about him later on in the podcast, because like I have like a thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
But wow, oh my goodness,
insane! He's playing great. I mean, I'll give him his props and his flowers. This season, Nico Jackson has definitely turned it around. He looks great. Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer, yeah.
João Felix looks great. And not that I condone his reasoning behind his recent surge in performances, but Enzo Fernandez, I totally disagree with everything he's doing off the pitch. But clearly something.
I thought he was going to have a hard time walking back into that team. I thought he was going to have a little bit of, but he's bouncing back.
Yeah, Caicedo looks phenomenal.
When he's not, fouling the heck out of people.
Exactly. But while we're on the subject of Chelsea, I want to bounce back from what we talked about last week. Puma took Cucurella's little trash bin, slip in. They have turned it into essentially a social media frenzy with the little wet floor sign, the Cucurella ad.
Yep.
And I know people who don't even like boots that are loving this.
Seriously?
Yes. I had friends that are like not boot nerds, not anything. They're like, dude, this is genius.
I did see it, but it was, I think even James said this, it was just a little bit late. Like if they'd come out with it right away, like boom, social media team cleanup, like on that day or maybe the day later. But I think it took them like 2 or 3 days to get that out. It was pretty creative and very smart. It's very much like I think companies do a really good job of making fun of themselves sometimes, and this was like really in that vein.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's great, and again, great way to spread word. And some people say good press is, or what is it? Bad press is still good press, or something like that.
Bad. All press is good press.
Yeah, okay, something like that. But my thing is, even the people who love football or play football that have seen that, nobody's been like, oh hey, I want to try those Future 8s. So it's kind of like this catch-22, because it's like we're spreading word like wildfire about these boots, but nobody's like, I want to wear them. It's still kind of just like, oh, that's clever.
Yeah. What kind of sucks, man, is so I believe I was watching that game and he did play in the 7s again, and then you have who is it, James Maddison over at Tottenham, and I believe he scored in the Future 8s this weekend.
Twice.
Like he scored a pretty good goal. And it's like, but nobody's looking at that.
Yeah, it's Spurs.
You know what I mean? It's like,
come on, man.
It's
Spurs.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying. You got some players that are doing well. I think Jack Grealish has them on, but he never plays.
Yeah, exactly. Jack Grealish has gone something like 45 games straight without a goal involvement.
Dude, somebody, because I've noticed this. My buddies have noticed this. On somebody's talking about this on ESPN FC, where it's like Jack Grealish gets the ball and he goes tap 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 tap, cut back, pass in, and that he's been doing that for the last 3 seasons. It's kind of sad to see him go from Aston Villa to Man City.
So I said,
and just
Pep ruined his game, bro. That's what Pep does. He coaches the maverick out of people. I think that's why now that Cole Palmer has left Chelsea, you really see it coming out of him. And this season, not as much, because they're not depending on him as much, but he's still having those moments.
But what if I told you, Justin? What if I was like, hey, man, I'm going to send you over here. You're balling out right now at Aston Villa, but I'm going to send you over to this bigger club, and you're going to win a treble. And you're going to be probably remembered for that treble.
Yeah. Yeah.
And would you do it? Or would you want to keep balling out at your smaller club?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard. I mean, like, it's one of those things. It's like for me in this life, everything has a price. You know what I mean?
Right.
Everything has a price. So, like, for some people, like for Jack, like, yeah, maybe like leaving Aston Villa and getting a treble and getting paid, like being $100 million or £100 million signing was worth it.
Right.
I just wouldn't sell my soul to be part of Man City. Like, just for me personally.
Yeah. I mean, even our like club legend, Steven Gerrard, one club player, had the opportunity to go to Chelsea, almost did it, didn't end up doing it, never won a title. So it's kind of like, what do you want?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But it's like, what is your soul worth? Because like, look at somebody like Torres. You know, he's
soul to soul.
I mean, yeah, he's still loved at Liverpool. Let's not get it crazy. But like for a while there, he was not. And then he went to Chelsea, and it's like, yeah, you did win trophies, but like you hurt a lot, you missed a lot of open goals. Like essentially, you kind of became a meme.
Right.
And so it's like, you know, like unfortunately, like, but it's like, what is it? What are trophies worth to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends. Yeah. I mean, his bank account's probably doing a lot better too.
Yeah,
but
he's like Jack
trophies
nowadays. He's huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to keep moving on. The next question that I have for you is something that I've been thinking about for a while, and I need to ask you this. What is your jersey pick for this week's episode?
My jersey pick for this week's episode is the 2009-2010 AC Milan kit. That is the home. I mean, obviously AC Milan, red and black stripes, but this is the one where it had like the white collar to it. So it was like the Ronaldinho, I believe, like David Beckham loan.
Oh yeah, the Pirlo
Alexander
one.
Pot. Yes, Pirlo, Alexander Pato, dude. Do you remember that guy? Was like, it was almost like he. I mean, he didn't have like the flair of Neymar, but he was like this incredible Brazilian striker, was supposed to be like the next big thing. And then he kept getting hurt, unfortunately. So I remember following that club because of him. And I was rooting for him because I think he like kind of bounced over to Corinthians and then had like a loan spell at Chelsea. And I was like, oh, please do well at Chelsea. And yeah, once these young guys get so many injuries, dude, they can't bounce back.
Dude.
But anyways, like I love that era of AC Milan.
That's a great jersey. I love that kit.
Thanks, man.
My kit, I went old school. I went 92-93 Arsenal away. Better known as the bruised banana.
Yes, dude. They brought this back recently, didn't they?
They've been inspired.
As like a lifestyle?
Yeah. Infamous kit for sure. Depending on who you ask.
Yeah.
I love this kit. It's just, and it's like the fact that it has a nickname, and it's like, this is like people, like, this is one of those kits people just see and they know. You know what I mean? You're not like, oh, whose kit is that?
Right.
It's like the bruised banana. The JVC, like, super, super iconic fucking sponsor. I miss some of those old sponsors.
That is so cool, dude.
It's one of those kits that's so bad, it's great.
Right, exactly. And especially like when it's retro and you bring it back, it was ugly at the time. It looks better.
Yeah.
Like, it's so awesome.
So bruised banana, that was my pick for the week.
That's a great dude. This might be one of your best jersey picks.
Thanks,
like
bro.
I did not see this coming.
Thank you. You know?
This is awesome.
I try to think outside of the box. Shout out to our Arsenal friends. Well, on the topic of Arsenal, there's one man whose game has kind of been subpar, even though he's super expensive. But he has been wearing the new Adidas Copa Pure 3 Luxe, I think is what it's called.
Yep.
Somebody else who's wearing the Copa Pure 3 Luxe is in this podcast right now.
Woo! Yes, sir. Yes, I got these pretty quickly, actually.
Yeah.
I was nervous I wouldn't have them in time for this podcast. Justin, they're not bad.
Yeah.
They're not a bad boot at all.
Okay.
I haven't gotten a chance to wear them on pitch. I don't know if I will wear these on pitch. I just wanted to mainly get these in hand to talk about on the pod.
Yeah.
But I went half size down. Went down to a 9, US 9 per. Try to get this out of that light. It's so, like, these white boots is so hard to see with the light. Anyways, went half size down, fits perfectly. Toe box is a little bit more narrow than I thought it would be. But it's, dude, in terms of being like a one piece upper, this is one of the easiest boots to get on. They fixed the heel. I mean, I would say way better than the Copa Pure 2 and Copa Pure 1. It's kind of like a one piece fusion skin, so there's I don't know if you've seen the reviews, but there's like no seams or anything.
Yeah.
So it's very comfy. It's very comfy. It's very accommodating. It seems like it's going to be a very comfortable ride. Now it's kind of weird because I know that we talked on this podcast about people having it in hand prior and comparing it to boots like maybe Legend 7 or Legend 9, and these fusion skin boots, dude, because they're more modernized. It just doesn't have that same feel as like a Tiempo 9 or like Mizuno or something. I mean, like I haven't broken this in yet,
Yeah.
right? I kind of have an idea of like what it will feel like just from like the DB Preds. But yeah, it's weird because like you really expect like these in the leather category of boot to feel soft, and it's just. It's just different.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's just modernized
Yeah.
leather. Like you have to take the good with the bad. Like you have to take these modernized elements with, like a new feeling essentially. But yeah, I mean, I think they did a much better job in the Copa Pure 2. It wasn't like they had a really high bar to surpass, but yeah, not bad, man. And I appreciate this. I appreciate this extra last little lace hole
Yeah.
here that they give you, which is cool.
Yeah.
Better lockdown.
No, yeah, they look. We've talked about it a little bit off screen. They definitely look interesting. I thought it was a very interesting take. We watched J Mike, we've seen Josh, the usual suspects, and I thought it was really, really. I'm gonna say smart to use the Predator last and go with the same kind of fit and feel that the Predator has. Now, granted, we talked about how the Rotero and the David Beckhams, especially, have a different fit with their fusion fusion skin uppers compared to the regular Preds. And it seems like these Copas are closer to the regular Pred. But I think, like the Pred 24 and now the 25 are literally knocking it out of the park. So why not give people a quote unquote leather version of that? Like permanently.
Yeah, no, I mean it's good. If you ask me right now which one I'd still rather wear like the DBs,
Well,
like
of course.
the fusion skin Preds. I still like. I played in these yesterday actually, and it's just such a great anatomical fit. And weirdly, like these when I put them on my feet, even when I first tried the fusion skin Preds on, like these don't feel as comfortable. I don't know, man. I think they did a great job with these, but I also think that they did a better job with the Fusion Skin Predators, and I think if you're gonna get a leather boot, just wait until they release those, because those I think are the best version and the best fitting style leather boots. Even the heel, like I know J Mike was talking about like, oh gosh, like this heel's so much better. Like why didn't they use this on the new Pred 25? I still think like this is pretty good.
I like this heel like so much.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty good.
Well, here's the thing I'll say though, and I don't mean to cut you off, but the thing that I say with the Copa, and I think the thing that's good about it is, it is cheaper by what $50 to $100 than the David Beckhams or the Roteros were, and B, readily available.
Right.
And C,
right.
Not as light and not a very popular line, so easier to get.
Yes, that's what I was going to say too. And I'm assuming, like, because I think you can still go to soccer.com. Like, these released, last week, and I'm pretty sure you can still get these in every size. So I don't think there's, like you're saying, like a high demand for it. So you've shown me, and we've shown on the podcast, there's a few colorways coming out. There's going to be the red, black, white, or white, red, black. And then there's also going to be like a white, blue, silvery, like platinum colorway. And those will probably come out at the beginning of next year. So I would say if you're in the market and you want to get a Copa Pure 3, I would wait like a few months after release and you'll probably get some at a pretty decent discount. But that being said, Justin, it's so Adidas like to like release, they have a better model like a better upgraded model, Copa Pure 3, and then they released this Copa Icon 2, dude. Like within what, like days of each other? And the Copa Icon 2 was developed by their Japanese team, and they just like seems like I don't have them in hand, but it seems like the Copa Icon 2 blew it out of the park to where they're going to be a better fitting boot and just overall a like more I don't know, it seems like it's going to be a more like Japanese style Mizuno Asics fitting style boot. What do you think about that?
So I think it's cool, and I think the Copa Icon 2 is going to be honestly the better of the two. But the problem I have with is it's like you're going against the biggest hitters. You're bringing a knife to a gunfight.
Right.
And I don't know why. Like, why would you try to do, you know what I mean? Like, it just seems maybe it'll absolutely blow us away, but it's just like, because Mizuno's and Asics are expensive here. You know what I mean? And the Copa Icon won't be. But in Japan, I think that they're roughly the same price, the Mizuno's, Asics, and the Copa. So why? Why would you pick the Copa Icon 2?
Yeah. Well, I mean, for us, obviously, like, I think it's if these aren't going to be super popular, then the Icon 2 is probably not going to be super popular. So you'll probably be able to get the Icon 2 at a discount. But I was going to say, like, if you're a brand, is it a weird thing to sort of, we've talked about this before, but kind of cannibalize your own line? It's like you're making a mid-tier line that reviewers are going to say is better than your top tier line.
Yep.
So then people are going to, like, you know, that are in the boot industry at least, are going to be like, well, why am I going to go for this top? I'm just going to get the Icon 2. And also within that, it's like they use the AG sole plate. So it's like, hey, dual use. Thank you very much. Like, yeah, I will take that.
Yeah, there's got to be some. This has got to be one of those weird things that me and you just don't get because we're not, in that world, like that the design part of the world. But like, it's like the same thing I've said with, like, for example, Nike. Like, why do you have the Vapor and the Superfly be the exact same boot? Like, it's just you're just doubling on the same thing. Just like, for me personally, I don't understand why there's a Predator FT, a Predator, a regular Predator tongue, and then a laceless. Like, I don't get this whole, like, let's use, not only like cannibalize within our own company, but like within the own line. Like, to me, if you're gonna keep the Copa Icon, for example, if it was a Japan only kind of model, I'm like, all right, fair play. Kind of sucks. Maybe we can import it. Fair play, no big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get, especially and for the price that it'll probably be, because it'll probably be around $180 to $200.
Yeah.
And then
that's a
the
great
Copa Pure's what,
point, man.
$225, $250.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it was Japanese only, like, what did the because Puma had like a Japanese only style boot.
The King Mirai, the Mirai.
Mirai. Yeah, exactly. That's a great shout, man. Yeah, it is interesting, and like the weirder thing to me too is like just having these boots in hand. I'm like, I think I texted you and I was like, yeah, they're good, not great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna keep them. But right after I sent you that, I watched the Icon 2 review from J Mike, and I was like, ooh, like, those look very, very interesting. The price looks interesting. I would like an AG pair of boots for playing on turf, like, here and there. Not that these wouldn't be safe on turf. Like, that's pretty safe.
That's probably the safest
plate.
one I've seen in a while.
I know. Yeah. Put your seatbelts on, everybody. But yeah, dude. I it's just weird. Like, I almost wonder, is there a, because Adidas is one of the better brands that does listen to the market. Like, we've gotten Trent boots re-released, we've gotten like remakes, obviously, and we're they overall seem to listen to the fans. If people kind of overwhelmingly flock towards the Icon 2 as their sort of like leather boot, and Copa Pure 3 sit on the shelves, kind of like the Tiempo 10s have been doing, do they make a market shift and say, whoa, hey, maybe on our Copa Pure 4 or whatever the heck the next Copa is going to be called, do we like kind of shift to making it more of a like kind of Japanese, like Asian market style Icon 3?
That's a good shout. I don't know, man. It's one of those. It's like, because I think Adidas is a bit more cutthroat, where they're just like, oh, I don't like that. This isn't working. Let's just kill it. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
So part of me wonders, like, let's say, for example, like the Icon 2 is beating the Copa Pure 3, 6-1, hypothetically. I don't think it will, just because people don't know boots like that. But let's say it was beating them 6-1. Do you think then Adidas might just be like, Copa Icon 3 is the top of the market. Get rid of the Pures. Like, we're done with the Pure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would actually be a great idea. Yeah. It's like, hey, that would save you a ton of money, save you a ton of production money. And then I don't know if it's more expensive to like sort of fusion, let's call it fusion skin out a boot than it is to just like throw some calfskin leather on the toe box. But I would imagine it would be cheaper to just do it the Icon way. I mean, especially if you're selling it for a cheaper price.
For sure.
So yeah, they should do that. Honestly, like they should do that. And what I would do if I were Adidas is I would do the Icon 3. And this is what in like a year or two. I would scrap the Copa Pure if like you said, if the market sells more Icon 2s, and I would just occasionally keep making the odd like fusion skin Preds or some leather F50s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they used to do that a lot back in the day, didn't they? They used to make like leather versions of...
They didn't necessarily do that, but they would make a lot more special editions than they do now. Like, granted, boots were made a little bit differently, but like they did a lot more SLs where they would shave weight, or they might do a synthetic version instead of a leather version, or yada yada yada. But the thing for me is between the Copa Pure and the Copa Icon. Like, the reason I think that the Copa Pure will stay around more than the Copa Icon is marketing. I don't think that I think that Adidas has invested some money in the Icon too, but I think it's still going to I think it is going to be a Japanese boot. Okay, so let's put that out there. And with the Copa Pure 3, you told me kind of when we first got them, you're like, yeah, they're fine. They don't do anything amazing. They're kind of just they're there. And I wonder too if sometimes brands purposefully have boots that are like that because they help the boots that are special. They're kind of like steady eddies. Like, like on a football pitch, you have some players, you have your Jordan Hendersons, your James Milners, Darren Fletchers, players that don't fucking really, your Mason Mounts, that don't really do anything so significant where you're like, oh man, I want to go watch a 30-minute highlight video of them. But it's like... your
sideways passing specialist is what you're talking about,
Your Ji-Sung Parks, your guys that just run. And they're dogs, and that's what they do. And it's like, you need those kind of players to elevate the other players around. You can't have a team full of steady eddies, but you need a couple of them. And so I wonder if that's kind of where Adidas is trying to get the Copa lines at this point, because the Copa Icon 1, as much as I like it, I know a lot of people don't like it. It's not that great of a boot. The Copa Pure 1 was okay. The Pure 2 was a colossal failure. So I wonder if Adidas is at the point where like, hey, we got to right this ship. We need to put just enough into it to where people are comfortable. It gives them a good, like, clean ride, and then we can go from there. So I think that they might just be kind of hitting like almost like a hard reboot on the coat without dropping the name, because I think they're trying to build that brand name, for long terms. But that's kind of where I wonder if they're going to do that instead of investing in the Icon. Like, the fact that we even got a new Icon, I think is like, Adidas is like, there. We improved it. Leave us alone. Like, we did enough. Like, chill out.
Yeah. That's a good point, man. Yeah, exactly. They have to almost right the ship.
Yeah.
Which is smart. I mean, and honestly, like, it's so like, because we're kind of comparing what Adidas is doing right now versus what Puma is doing right now, which Puma is not listening to anybody. They're just like, here's this tech, the same crappy last and crappy heel, and Adidas is like, no, we're gonna fix the heel, we're gonna make it more comfortable, we're gonna improve the lockdown, we're gonna give you a brand new sole plate, like that torsion frame is out, kind of like, all right, here's all the boxes, we checked them all, and then boom. So yeah, I mean, I don't think they did anything really wrong with this boot. I think they really did like improve everything that they need to improve. I'm not sure why, like, I'm still not, like, enthralled with it. I think it does have a lot to do with, like, the softness of the actual leather. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like a traditional leather boot to me. But I see what they're going for here.
Well, and I think, too, okay, so here's going to be where I'm going to push back against you a little bit. Is that a leather liner? Is the inside leather, the sole?
Yeah,
I
don't think it's leather. No, it is really slick though. It's slicker. Yeah. People didn't like it because it was slicker. The heel is so comfy, man. Just like running my fingers along the suede, it's super comfy.
Okay, so here's where I'm going to give you some pushback on what you just said. So for me, if you are an avid, if you've been wearing the Copa generations, let's say since kind of their inception. So what? You have the 17, 18, mid. They're not that great. They're pretty mid. Then you go 19 and 20. Everybody absolutely loves. You go Copa Sense, dog shit. You go Copa Pure 1, pretty mid. You go Copa Pure 2, dog shit again. And then you go Copa Pure 3, pretty mid again. So I think that the reason for you personally also is you said, I'm kind of underwhelmed. Well, with your David Beckhams, you've had that's like top shelf whiskey right there. You know, that's your top shelf. And you've been sipping on that for a while. So you've had it. So you're at the bar, you're sipping on that all night, and then somebody hands you a Copa Pure 3. It's not well, but it's like Jack Daniels. It's like, right. Yeah, it's like it's not terrible, but like I could drink it. But it's like I prefer to go back top shelf. So it's kind of like you've already been spoiled and had something better. So now that you're kind of going back to the norm, you're kind of like, oh man.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right, man. And I was telling you, like, the weird thing about like the fusion skin, like leather versus like something that is like, you know, like kind of more, what's the word? I guess sloppy, like kind of sloppier, like older leather is like traditional leather. It feels good. It stretches around your foot, but it doesn't feel like. It doesn't feel sloppy. Like I know this is probably sloppier than like the the regular Hybrid Touch 2.0 or the new Hybrid Touch, but it doesn't feel sloppy. It still stretches, and I still get like a good like clean touch on the ball, and I like that, and I almost prefer that in a Predator because I think a Predator is more geared like it's got like the rubber elements like the fins. Yeah. So it's kind of geared to be more of a like that style of boot. But when I pick up like a Copa, I feel like it should feel like this. I mean, this is like the K leather they use on the 18. It's just different.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. And that's what we have to tell other people. Besides just us, it's not that it's bad. It's just different.
It's just different.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some people are going to love that.
Yeah.
I mean, Declan Rice seems to love it. He's not wearing his freakish, Frankenstein boots. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think that colorway is still god awful. I don't love it, even seeing it in person. But after hearing your thoughts, seeing some of the reviews, I would say I'm more inclined to try it than I was before.
Yeah, I mean, if I get these at a decent price, I wouldn't mind having a pair. I really wouldn't, and I'd like to break them in. But like, I really do want to see kind of what the Icon's all about before I rush into that. And J Mike did. I'm pretty like impressed with the, not that like boot reviewers are allowed to say whatever they want, right? And I think J Mike does it in a really like classy, kind of clever way. But in this most previous video, he was like, "Yeah, I would absolutely go over with the Icon over the Pure 3." And I was like, "Okay,
yeah."
You just straight up was like, "Yeah." Wasn't even like decide for yourself. I was like, "This is what I would do." And I'm like, "I respect that."
Fair enough. Gotta love it. So last topic, Colby, is the golden boy of Spain, Mr. How does he do it? 304?
It's like that. I don't know if I want to like throw a gang sign up and get in trouble.
I was going to say 305 because of goddamn Pitbull. Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, but Mr. 304, Lamine Yamal, he's getting his own signature F50 colorway. Yep. Now, they're pink. They're very pink.
They are very pink.
And white.
And laceless.
Okay. How are we feeling about that?
I'm fine with it. But I did read that he is the youngest player to have a signature boot. He's 17 years old. And I had to go back and I had to look this up, dude. Because I was like, I remember Jadon Sancho getting his own Mercurial signature colorway very young. I think it was might have been the Vapor 13.
It is the Sancho sauce.
Whatever super. Yes, and then we of course have Endrick, who got his New Balance boots very young. I guess he was a little bit older than 17. But it's just kind of like, at what point does, you know what I mean? Like, this is going to be my question at the end of the podcast, but I can bring it up now. Is like, at what point do signature boots even matter anymore? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like back in, what was it, like 2010, 2011, when they gave was it Ronaldo his first signature colorway, which was the Safari boots. Yep. It was a huge deal. You know what I mean? It was like, oh wow. Or even when they gave Ronaldinho his white gold Tiempos, he was probably like maybe 26, 27 for like the peak at Barcelona. And now I feel like they're just giving signature colorways to like kids. Like, hey, Harvey Elliott, here's your Bulldog, signature boot. Like, here you go, Sancho. Here you go, Saka or Sterling with your bus rides to, down London. And it's like, okay, like did these mean as much as they used to mean?
No. Let's start this off calling a spade a spade. No, they don't mean as much. You know what this is to me? And I get it because it is smart. This is a company doing something early because obviously they see potential in these players. And then that way, if these players inevitably explode and become, great, they'll be like, see, we were with them from the beginning. We had them. That's why we invested them. Like, think about it. If as great as Ronaldo has been, Nike caught on that train early. Think if Nike could go all the way back, Ronaldo signs for Manchester United. I guarantee you they would have made a made in Manchester boot right then and there. And
for sure.
Started pumping them out early. Just to be like, look, this guy's the guy. And same with Adidas and Messi. Like, I know that Nike had him first, but like they would have started pumping those out early. So it obviously comes down to hype, future proofing and kind of future marketing. The thing that I told, because I had this conversation with James, a Boot Wizard, was he basically asked the same question. It was like, do signature colorways matter? And I said, like, for me personally, like, if you want to look at peak signature colorway stuff, for me, the CR7 chapters. Now, I don't love all the chapters, but when they did like chapter 1, made in, the lava one, and the dime, they had a story, and it was like, okay, this all makes sense. But outside of that, like, I'm fine when players just get a random colorway that only they wear. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's where I draw the line. Is like, you can give somebody a colorway that they're the only guy who wears it, but it doesn't have to be their boot. And that's where I think that this whole signature, like Endrick, like, come on, man, this is like his third colorway.
Oh, I know.
It's
like
the
new green ones. I'm like, stop it.
It's like he's good, but it's like, come on, like, really, what has he done?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Come on.
The white, I know. The guy doesn't. I mean, he doesn't play. He's young.
Yeah,
he's young on a Madrid team, but
he's allowed to be a kid. Same with Yamal. They're young. They're allowed to be celebrated. This and that. But it's like, for Yamal, I'm like, this would have made sense to come out when he won the Euros, like unveiled with this boot. That'd have been for me like the really smart, or not the Euros. No, yeah, the Euros, right?
Yeah, it was the Euros. It was Euros. You're right.
Losing my mind.
Yeah.
Losing my mind. But yeah, like, I miss the days when, like, Ronaldo, for example, he had those pine green mercurial Vapor 4s. And then later on, other people eventually wore them. But for a while, it was just Ronaldo. It's not a Ronaldo colorway. It's not a Ronaldo boot. Just like that. So that's the mindset that I think these brands need to go to. For example, like, what's one? Okay, again, Salah. It was Salah and I think Brahim Diaz for Real Madrid had that what's that red colorway they just had, where it's like multiple stories and it was a Salah boot, but it wasn't.
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
The red one or pinkish one. Like, again,
I know what you're talking about.
That boot.
I don't know what the story was, but I know what you're talking about.
So that boot, for example, it'd have been super cool if Salah was the only one wearing that boot. But like, when other colorways were the mainline colorway, not the same colorway. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
So it's,
it was within the same color scheme.
It's in that
right.
It's in that pink. So like, imagine like when the blue and pink F50s were everything, and then Salah's wearing that bright crimson red looking one. You'd be like, oh, what's that? That's kind of cool. Like, it's not a Salah boot. It's just he's
they might have done that Thomas Muller one at the same time too, which was like another red
and blue.
See, this is the problem with having so many colorways. It's like, which
that's what I'm saying. Like, to me, it's cool whenever brands will do stuff like that. Like Beck's, back in the day, like Beck's wore the champagnes. Not everybody wore the champagnes. They wore launch colorways. The Japan blue team had the Japan blue. So I think that's what brands need to start doing and stop doing so many signature boots. Because like you said with Harvey Elliott, like, no offense to the guy, but it's like you have two signature boots. Like, what are we doing? You don't even play full time.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, dude, it's awkward too. And you kind of said this a second ago, but like Jadon Sancho when he was at Dortmund, it's like, dude, hey, you're gonna be like the next best thing, and then he kind of fell off at Manchester United a bit. And it's like, haven't really seen him in any signature colorway since. He probably is going to get hopefully back to that level. Yeah. But it was like, we're giving up on you. Like, you didn't really shine bright. Hey, Marcus Rashford, you want some? Oh yeah, you're not doing that great.
Crash out
and they just kind of keep moving. Yeah, I know. They keep crashing out and they just keep moving on.
Well, yeah, and it's just like that's the thing. That's what these brands are trying to do, is they're trying to find the next one. You know, after Ronaldo, they kind of started Vitus and Hazard and Neymar, blah blah blah. You're gonna be the face. You're this and that. And again, I'm just like, chill out on some of the like putting people's names on boots, because to me, one big thing that I think that brands haven't realized, like I'm just gonna use the Judes for example, just because like this right here, people hate this shit. You know what I mean? Like when you start slapping people's names, like I'm a grown man, I don't really love wearing another grown man's names all over boots. You know what I mean? Like so that's what I'm saying. Like imagine if, like, for example, everybody's wearing this colorway, right? This is the inline colorway. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, cool. And then Trent walks out. This is what Trent's wearing. It's not a Trent boot. It's just he's this guy who's wearing the red ones. Okay, cool. And then stuff like that. That's what I think brands need to get back to doing. Is they can have like one or two guys just wearing like this cool little colorway, and it's like, oh yeah, only you're wearing that one. So that's where I'm at. So yes, they've lost it.
Kind of did that. They kind of did that with Trent. Actually, it's funny that you say that, with like the white red, before we could all kind of get our hands on like that, and the hype was crazy for those. So yeah, good point.
See, that's what I'm saying. And like one that I think was smart. I think they came out too many, but one time that I did think it was smart was when New Balance had the green packs, right? And Bukayo Saka had his was everything was the green, but he just had that gold on the sole plate. And then we ended up seeing, I think Eze had a tequila that was the same way. It was like that. Right. That was all that set their boots apart. I'm like, that's the kind of things that I think brands should do. Just subtle things here and there to be like, boom, you're the guy. That's what you're wearing. You know, just a little fun Easter egg. And it's like, for boot nerds out there, here's a fun little Easter egg for you. For everybody else, you don't give a shit. Yeah.
You're absolutely right, man. Yeah, I think it should, like, if like, for going back to Yamal, which is what started all this, if he just had pink boots, it didn't have any of this, like 304 stuff on here. If it didn't have like this, like hand gesture on the in the insole. I'm such an old man. The hand gesture. I think people would be like, oh, that's really cool. Yeah. Like, can I get my hands on those, or is that just for him?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
So that's where I'm at with that.
Cool, man. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was very well said, man.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah, I like those points.
Thanks, bro. Okay, I got a question for you. So last week I asked you if you believe in ghosts, and you said no. You flat out said no. Okay, so this week I'm going to ask you, Colby, are we alone in this universe?
No. There's no way. It's too vast, bro.
It is.
We are a speck in an infinite universe.
Yeah.
Dude. There has to be more out there.
Okay, we're gonna sign off with this. But I watched this video the other day where the guy said, okay, if you took your hand, right, and you used your thumb, this is the sun, right? So your thumb is the size of the sun. You put it in the center of your hand. This is the solar system, okay? So like,
okay,
Neptune is out here, but this is the solar system, okay? The Milky Way, the observable Milky Way, not all of the universe, just the Milky Way, the galaxy that we live in, would be the size of North America.
Oh my gosh.
So just let that settle in. Colby, tell the people where they can find you.
You guys can find me at Kicking with Colbs on Instagram and on YouTube.
You can find me at Texas Cleat Collector on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. You can find us at bootcastpod on Instagram. And as always, go down, like, comment, sub, turn the notification bells on, jump through some hoops, sing the songs, do the dances. Let us know in the comments. Do you like signature colorways? Do you miss them? Do you hate them? What do you think about them? And as always, if you like what you've seen down below, click down here to see more. Until next week.